Alrighty folks, welcome back to another video from Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. So I kind of mentioned some of this before on some of my other videos, and I never really got into the details yet of the new tech, the modern tech. What I am basically talking about are things that everybody's probably using every day for their devices to get on the internet, check their email, all of that stuff, is your cell phone. There is good and a lot more bad about the new modern tech than there is compared to the old-fashioned tech. So I break these down completely different because you have different security risks and different security issues due to using something like this compared to using your computer. I have some training videos that'll be coming out here pretty soon that are PowerPoint presentation videos, basically like training classes and stuff like that, to educate people on some information that is really important with security. Some really important stuff like phishing, email, security type of things that every user around the world has to know these things. This makes a lot of these things a lot worse because they've written coding and written certain things to work on these things that do not show you all the proper information and all the stuff you really need to know. Opening your email on this device is pretty much a crazy thing for me. If you do not know for sure 100% that this email is something you should be opening and you know who it is from, you should not open it on this device. When I go through and I go through these training videos, I'll go through more of email headers are hugely important. This device does not show you the email header. People can spoof emails and stuff and you will not know because this modern technology doesn't show it. So, wanted to go through some of the things that I consider more modern technology. Mesh point, internet access type devices where it can be plugged in one place and brought all over a whole area. Your internet signal you get can be from multiple places on these kind of devices. That's another thing that makes this device so risky, is if you have Wi-Fi or Bluetooth capability or any of those things turned on, and you're going around town and you're looking up stuff like you usually do, everybody's on these things on their phones all the time. What is this connected to? You're here, oh, there's my bank account. Oh, I got, $2,000 left that I can spend this week. Okay, cool. I got, my bonus check in here. Ooh. And that's on someone else's Wi-Fi access when you are logged into your bank account. Not going through your cell phone network because you have your Wi-Fi on. And it's an unsecure Wi-Fi and someone's using it for illegitimate reasons. You can go online and research that. There's been reports in China and airports and other places where they tell you, make sure you turn off your Wi-Fi. Because as soon as you get there, your phone will connect and then they can get into your phone and do all kinds of stuff. See what you've been looking at, delete your phone, do all kinds of stuff. I've mentioned these little things in other videos in the past, but now is a video about this modern technology. This is the modern. This is what I consider the old-fashioned tech, your computer, that is fixed, that's in a certain location. With modern technology, there is another form of modern technology that I will get into, and I will consider it future tech for this video, but it is actually the present tech, is all your cloud-based stuff. Stuff that is not physically on a server you control, but it's on the cloud. It's out there on servers all around the world somewhere. You don't know where it's at. That is also considered modern technology. There are a lot of risks and a lot of things that come up with that. They're completely separate from anything I've shown here. If you set a server up in this room and you connect it to your network and all of that, that security is completely separate. That is changing businesses. That is changing a lot of things right now. Honestly, I'm way behind on a lot of that tech. I did not really think a lot of that cloud computing was going to really take off due to the security concerns. But it seems like people don't really care or aren't informed, or I don't know. I've really held off on a lot of that because I did not think it was going to get as big as it is. This is looking like the wave of the future. This is looking like the next gen tech. Pretty soon, offices will not have whole server rooms and server racks. They'll have one little computer, probably like my little mini that I'm using here, and that will be your whole server system. That's because with the cloud base, you need a system running software that will communicate out to all your cloud network based systems to bring it in. It could be just as simple as this little tiny system. Or if you've watched my server videos, one of those little computers or a full stand-up server somewhere in a corner in a nice chilled room could be all you need in the future. So this is where everything is going. This is all the new modern tech. Things like this. I bought it. It was on sale. We haven't really used it too much. But this is now video calling. No telephone. No Zoom. No computers. No, you do all that on here. So this is a whole nother future tech. Boardrooms and stuff might just end up with these. Do your meetings, do everything, video presentations, everything on here. Everything's cloud-based now. You don't need to have a whole computer. You don't need to do slideshows. You can do all that on the cloud. You can do that right from your phone and run it, display it. This is the new modern tech. All these little gadgets that work together. Wi-Fi. You know, they even make smaller units. So I wanted to do a quick little video on this to get people aware of the modern tech. Because I'm working on a lot of presentations. They're going to be PowerPoint presentations. You're not going to see me in it. It's going to be basically a training presentation. If you're in a business or a small business and you want to reuse that presentation and show people, I don't care. It's got my symbol on there. It's marketing, it's advertising for me. I want to make sure everybody's safe and secure. I want to make sure everybody's aware of this information. Second issue with modern tech. Who is using these things nowadays? Technically, am I the first or second generation computer person in the family? It's kind of a tough issue. We've all kind of got into the tech at the same time. My sister's kids, well, they'd be classified second gen. Your siblings, kids, second gen. Their kids are now third gen. They're all, you see all the little kids now when you go out everywhere, they're all watching the phones with the dinner and everything because they're bored and they have to have their entertainment. So they're considered, to me, as a third gen of technology. Some of these kids are older, they're doing more on the internet. There's a lot of parental protections you can enable on a lot of things. But again, this is why I'm doing these videos, because they're the third gen that weren't taught. Don't open these emails. Don't do this. Don't do that. To make sure everybody's still informed that the rule that was there when the internet and email actually started is still there. They haven't changed. Email is not safe. Email has actually become more unsafe than when it originally started. This new modern tech of email and stuff. Remember in the old days, you used to get all the junk mail. You still get some junk mail, but the cost of the junk mail keeps the junk from coming in. You got to produce that paper. You got to produce whatever they're giving you. You got to put it in envelopes. You got to pay for postage. You got to ship it all out. There's a lot of work and effort involved. This new electronic stuff, you need to sit down in 10 minutes, do a form, and send it out to 100 million, 300 million, a billion people. In 1 second, boom, it's out. It's done. It doesn't cost you anything. Oh, okay. Maybe you get some responses from phishing and some other things. Well, you can send it out to another 100 billion. It's real quick, real easy. Doesn't cost you anything to keep redoing it. So that's one of these issues that are going on out there. Is now, it's not that you get one spam email. Now you're getting that spam email from 30 different people. 30 different sources. It's the same junk. The same exact thing. But coming from all these different email addresses and domains and all this other stuff. So that's why I'm going to have these videos about understanding your URLs and domains and that type of stuff coming out after this video. So I wanted to go through some of this to explain the new tech, old tech. Because it can kind of get confusing. Because newer people that are in the field, this is what they're using. Service people come out. They're all using their phones now to do everything. Fill out their work orders, do all that stuff, send it, email it. So I wanted to point that out, that there is a lot of risk by using this kind of device. Not to mention, security features are just starting to kind of be rolled out. Virus scans, that type of stuff. Because they always said, oh, that's a phone. Nobody's writing coding for that. Guess what? A lot of people are using these nowadays. There's going to be stuff that used to only be for this kind of tech that's going to start hitting this kind of tech. So be aware. Don't think this is perfectly safe. This is garbage, this stuff, because you got viruses or Trojan horses and you don't have that stuff on you. No. I want to clarify that right now. You do have problems on here. It may not be this physical device, but this physical device is going out talking to something else. That something else is this. It's a cloud-based system somewhere. So this does not actually save you from anything going on the system. It's just on a different system. I wanted to specify that. Most modern tech is tied in with old-fashioned tech in the background. You might not see it, you might not know about it, but it is there. When you get on your cell phone internet provider, that's going through old-fashioned tech, through the phone networks, through the fiber networks, all the copper networks, all of that. It's going through all of that. Not to mention, you now have all the risks of, is it encrypted? How are you connected? Who's sitting in between? Are you on Wi-Fi? Are you Bluetooth to something? Did something attach? Now there's all these sharing things, all these auto sync features where if it's near another device, it'll automatically sync with that device. Like, whoa. Like, why don't you just hand it to the criminal? I understand some of these features are nice to have for some things, but really, gotta watch the security. You turn all this junk on. I want to call it worse than junk, and you're really at risk. That's like loading Windows XP in your computer without any firewall, without any kind of virus scan, without any malware, and let's log into my bank account. It's highly unrecommended. Let's go onto public internet and do it. You don't want to be doing that type of stuff. You don't want to be doing that stuff with the modern tech. So I wanted to sum that up and bring out these things on this modern tech. Because I hear people come up with the craziest things on stuff. Oh no, that's perfectly secure. What were you connected to? Oh no, the phone takes care of that and everything's fine. The phone takes care of that. The phone don't take care of that. You take care of that. You make sure this is connected to what network you want to connect it to. In the internet settings, you can actually tell it, do not connect to unsecure networks. How many people out there have something like a Wi-Fi mesh network or a Wi-Fi router and are still running the default admin password? Or a lot of them have a standard WAP or SSID with the standard password that's actually printed on the bottom. I don't care. I can show that because there ain't no way I'm using that. That could be duplicated on a million devices. How many people have not changed that? How long's internet been around? Wi-Fi been around? Same principles. If you do not know and you do not lock down and secure your device, you might as well just leave it open. So these are some of the factors that I really wanted to hit and hover on so people are aware of the modern tech. I've gone through and some of the security things about how I believe this is really the most dangerous device out there right now. Because how many other devices does this thing actually connect and talk to? That's something that you're going to have to do your own math on. If you're in a big town like New York, LA, Vegas, and you're walking down the street to get somewhere, and you have this set up to log on to any unsecure network, how many apartments or businesses or whatever do you walk by that this thing might attach to? Might be okay if you're not doing anything on it, but I'm sure everybody's got their banks, their credit card statements, their merchants, their stores, all that information on here. People are doing all their business out of these things now. That is really a high security risk. Walk by someone's and it connects and they're sniffing everything that connects, capturing all packages. Bloop, they got your info. You won't even know because you're walking down the street, you get out of range from their Wi-Fi, it disconnects, and then it connects to someone else's. You would have no clue. What if you're walking down the street in New York and you go by 5 houses, or not apartments, let's say apartments, condos, whatever, and there's 5 people running open Wi-Fi sniffing. You might have 5 people that get all your information off your phone. You hear all these stories about people tracking people with Apple iTags. This is new modern tech. There's a lot of modern tech out there. And how are they tracking you? Mostly off of this. They put that iPad tracking thing on you somewhere, and most of them are tracking you from their phone. You don't think they're sitting at home watching a computer. Some people might. Some people might be just watching your history of where you're going. This is the danger of this type of technology. So I wanted to bring out that. Of course, there's a lot of good and a lot of other good features from the modern tech that you can use. But of course, you need to do the proper security procedures and know the proper steps. Understanding the difference between looking at your email on here is a lot different than looking on your email on there. I will have to do more research on that email issue that I have seen a lot of, is when you look at your email, it says it's from Apple, it says it's from Yahoo, it says it's from eBay, but it does not give you the full email header of who it's from. And that's where that video I have coming out on understanding that, to find out who is actually sending you that email. Just because it says Apple or eBay or whoever does not mean that's who that is. And I have a video out on email security, on how ridiculously unsafe it really is. So, wanted to touch base on that to explain there is a huge difference between the standard tech and the new age tech. A huge, huge difference. And most of it gets down to security. This device. What stops somebody from hacking into this device, turning on the camera, watching anything you do, taking it over, start talking to you? You don't control any of the security in this device. So, these are some of those little things I wanted to point out. If you don't believe what I'm saying, look at Ring. There's security risks. The wireless camera security risks. All of those things where there's videos out there where people have hacked in and somebody's has a camera, an IP camera, or some kind of camera of that sort in their house, and they have it on video that that person's actually talking to the guy's dog or pet or whatever in the house. So that means they're watching that feed. They have access to that feed somewhere. Well, what's really worse is it's not actually they have access to that feed. The feed is different. They actually have control of that camera because now they can actually control the speech feature. They can actually talk through it. A feed is different. You can go online and look up cameras. IP cameras open all over the world. You can see video feeds. But you cannot control those feeds. That's something completely different. That's where you get into a lot of security issues with a lot of this new modern tech. IP cameras. That's why you keep them outside and you put them in a place where it's not a private location. You don't put it in a bathroom. You don't put it in your bedroom. Because you don't know what someone can actually see or do. So, this is the difference between the modern tech and traditional tech. Now, I don't want to say someone can't hack into your camera on your computer and watch and do everything. You can look that up and see cases of that. There's professional hackers that went into the security field that do it on a daily basis and show people, hey, this is not safe, this is not secure. My laptop camera has a piece of tape across it, and all the drivers have been removed from it. Windows does not have rights or access to control that camera, audio, or video. These are the security features I have on that device. If it really will help, I don't know. Some of these breaches and stuff I've seen look pretty scary. Like, I don't even know how you'd really even stop that. The way to stop it is you don't let them in your device to start with. So when you get into some of this newer tech, you got to kind of be careful. And what really scares me about some of this newer tech is there's 2 cameras on this one. Which one are they using and for what? Maybe they're not interested in anything you have, but maybe they're interested in what somebody else has or what your business is doing, and they're using this kind of tech. Hacks. There was just a big thing that I saw in Europe or somewhere where somebody used some kind of spy software on a bunch of, I think it was phones. It was legitimately software being sold out there. Some person bought it and implemented it and used it. That spy software is not designed to be hidden and secret. That spy software is there to be monitored and for you to monitor your users. So, how many other kinds of software have been used that haven't been monitored and noticed? So, these are some of these things I just kind of wanted to put out there. Be aware where you take these things, how you have them, what they see. There's horror stories about phones ordering products when they first had some of these systems out. These phones listen to you, record what you're doing. There's, what's the other device out there? The little, I have one in here, but I don't have it set up. Little boxes that you speak to that can change your channel, can control your AC. There's a couple different makes of those that you can do home automation with and all of these type of things. These kind of get into a whole new generation of stuff. Kind of get scary. Phones too, you could speak into them. Hey, can you blah, 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 you could program them to take certain commands to do certain things. Like Alexa. You don't necessarily have to say, Alexa, open the car. You can program them and name it Genie. You can name it, as long as you control the command function. These are some things you can do for security-wise that some of these new modern devices won't let you edit those. So, these are the same as this code. Do you leave it generic? Hopefully, when you set up your Wi-Fi, you go in and you change all of that. You don't leave it factory default. Admin is admin password. Hopefully, you don't do that stuff. Hopefully, you've gone in and you've changed all of that. If not, and you see this video, you better do it. So, this is where I wanted to get at with the modern tech. Because I know I've mentioned it in past videos. I know I'm going to mention it in future videos. So, I wanted to do a video actually on what I'm considering modern tech. And you can actually see modern tech. As you notice, most of this stuff is here in my office. It's not in the house. Because, again, I didn't really trust it that much. I want to set this up. I want to play with it and see how that would work for video calling. Don't know anybody in my family actually that has that device to actually remote to talk to. But of course, you have, your Apple phones that have their Apple Talk and all of that type of stuff that basically does the same thing. So, wanted to go through these things and point these things out because I think this is going to become more and more modern technology for replacing all the home landlines, replacing business conference phones, replacing all of those type of things, because a conference phone is just a phone. That's all it is. This is a video call system that actually will do a video conference call with the phone. So you don't have to put a computer in there with a camera, with a mic in it, mic separate, depending on what size room, what all that type of stuff you're gonna environment is. This is all one unit. Speakers, has everything in it. So that's why I kind of bought it, to kind of play with it, learn about it, because I think that's going to be the way of the future. Everybody's going to get away from stuff like that. It's kind of hard when you have a cell phone, unless you have some kind of stand, and then it's going to be, speaker quality isn't that great, microphone quality isn't that great. This device is made for that. So that makes things a little different. So I hope this goes into enough of the technology, what I'm talking about by modern technology. A lot of the security things that you have to be aware of and be concerned about. All the home technology stuff, home automation stuff. Home automation's been around for a long, long time. That was back in easily the 2000s. I was going to conventions for that stuff. It's kind of died out, and it's kind of changed names, and it's kind of migrated in with other things. It used to be a standalone type of thing that was separate than computers and everything else. But you can go online, you can go back on YouTube and find other videos of other people putting in switches that are auto-controlled from your phone, your garage door openers, all those type of things. All kind of have a security issue with them. So that is the new modern stuff. Because, like I said, I will refer to this term a lot. Because there's a lot out there, and I think there's a lot more to come. This is really, with the cloud thing taking off as big as it is right now, I think there's going to be a lot more of this technology coming out that's available for that. Because then all you need is your modern tech, your Wi-Fi internet access point, mesh network, whatever you need to cover that area, and you can have all kinds of things going on. Because I do have a device that is really an interesting device that is definitely a modern tech that I have that I didn't think was made, but I researched it and was very surprised to find it. And I referenced it to work that, hey, maybe you might be interested in looking at this or a similar product to this. I have wall AC units. They have a simple little remote, turn off, cool, temperature up, down, whatever. How do you turn that unit on before I get home? It's not one of these new smart ACs. They have smart ACs where you can attach them to your Wi-Fi use the app, and control it. What this device does is it connects to your Wi-Fi and you program it to the frequency of your remote. So all I have to do is open up the app on my phone and say, turn on AC, or I have a timer set. So it turns on certain days at certain times. So it automatically turns on. Turns on an hour before I get off. So it starts to cool down. You can add multiple devices for multiple ACs. And it's not just ACs, it's anything remote based like fans, heaters, and other. You can program them in there. So that was kind of an interesting device. Because now when I get home, it's not 120 degrees in that room. It actually cools down. So that was nice. So that's another form of a modern technology that's out there because it's all app-based off of a phone. Pretty much all cloud-based, except for it's off the app. I'm sure there's probably a cloud base where you can log on to a website, log in and do it all, and you don't even have to have a phone. You can probably use it off the internet or from any device around. So, wanted to bring that up. There's a lot of little devices out there that if you shop around and you look, you might be surprised on. These are all considered to me as the modern tech. This isn't your standard computer. This isn't a gaming computer. This isn't you logging in doing your banking and your financials. This is the modern stuff. So let me wrap this one up because I think I've gone on way long enough. I hope everybody understands when I talk about modern tech, what the modern tech actually is. And I'll be doing another video here that's probably going to follow all the trainings, kind of on the future tech, present tech situation, kind of like I just already mentioned in here, but more detail of business environment. Alrighty, folks, thank you for watching. Come back, watch all those presentations and slides and all of that type of stuff. The next videos on security training and all of that type of stuff. And again, if you want to show that to your employees, if you're a small business or something of that sort, and you want to show that to your employees, please do. I give you all permission to reuse that and show your employees. Send them to my YouTube. It won't hurt. I'd love more visitors and more people to subscribe. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. Send all your employees. Have them do the same. Thank you so much.